Welcome to International Conference of Research Advancement Ira Network 2019 and together with Journal of Physics IOP Conference Series. My name is Muhammad Adrian Thomas. Today, I will present my findings on Portable Mini Turntable for Close-Range Photogrammetry, a preliminary study. The contents for today's presentation are, I'll begin with the introduction, towards the three-dimensional evaluation and reconstruction, to the photogrammetry with a smartphone, to the preliminary data acquisition and analysis, and finally, the prototype turntable development. Without further ado, let's begin with the introduction. What is photogrammetry? Photogrammetry is an engineering code of practice that has spread by the revolution of computer science. Therefore, the drastic increment in the computer utilization has heavily influenced on the photogrammetry applications. The word photogrammetry is derived from three Greek words, which is phot, gamma, and metrin, that denotes as light, drawing, and measurement respectively. There are two types of photogrammetry methods, which are the close-range and the far-range photogrammetry techniques. The close-range are for smaller surface area, involving 1 mm² to 1 cm², whereas the far-range is for larger surface area, involving m² to km². The photogrammetry techniques have become a significant technological term, whereby several organizations such as American Society for Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing, International Society for Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing, and Committee for Documentation of Cultural Heritage, CIPA, are attached in this practice. Also, several research institutes, departments, universities, and certain mega industry are the only communities that exploit the new emerging digital photogrammetry techniques. The discipline of photogrammetry technique is portrayed in its figure, whereby it is called the system approach. Fundamentally, there are four types of data acquisition or inputs, which are then, it leads to several outputs, where it is composed of a photogrammetric product outgrowing from several of the procedure. As I mentioned before, there are four types of data acquisition or inputs. They are physical, temporal, semantic, and geometric information. These inputs are then processed through the digital workflow, which it begins with meshing, then towards texturing before producing a complete 3D model reconstruction. This 3D model can be categorized into three types of photogrammetric products, which are computational results, photographic products, and maps. In this research, the captured photo have to involve every detail of the object, and precisely about 60% overlap between images is advisable to ensure a corrective relative arrangement for processing. Also in the study, a smartphone camera with a minimum image resolution of 8 megapixels is used to create the 3D model. Additionally, this study drew a comparison whereby an image resolution of higher megapixel is used using another phone model. This information in terms of the required parameters and working principle in effective shooting phase for the photogrammetry method is used to design a portable mini turntable that will be used as an assistive device during the photogrammetric procedure. The utilization of images in a remake of 3D model acquire various interdependent techniques. This photogrammetric procedure is called the image-based modeling, IBM. Fundamentally, a dense point cloud is generated whereby it compels to accomplish a dense pairing between oriented photographic images. There are two advanced approaches that have been pioneered in the matching evolution, which are the application of semi-global matching, SGM, and dynamic programming method, DP. However, the SGM technique is vastly used compared to the DP in many computational algorithm and modeling applications and by many researchers. This is due to its beneficial functions to some degree. The following sequences in the progression of the 3D geometric model are the meshing and the texturing phases. There are three types of matching process. The volumetric representation, by definition, uses voxel in terms of unit volume factor. It was originated in the beginning of 1970s in the development of medical imaging, and nowadays, it is conventionally used in computer and scientific visualization. However, the major drawback for this volumetric representation is it requires tremendous storage volume during the meshing process. On the other side, Polygonal meshing is a compliant method to definitely portray the outcomes of the 3D model. Likewise, point patching technique is the construction of surfaces and curves directly from the points generated in a cloud. It employs non-uniform rational basis spline mathematical model to develop the 3D model. Therefore, after generating a 3D mesh model, texturing is the last phase, which the software outlines digital color image onto a 3D surface and thus portraying a photorealistic representation. Photogrammetry with a smartphone. It is vital to understand the camera placement, orientation, and lens characteristic for a better image acquisition for a proper 3D modeling. It is advisable to experiment the object in a fully closed room where it does not create contrast lighting effects or shadowy gesture. Also, ensure that the object is placed at the center of the camera frame, which save relatively about 70% of the examined object within a full frame. Additionally, ensure that AE or AF lock is activated. This helps to capture photograph with every details display. Also, high dynamic range or HDR is activated to aid better acquisition in generating higher dynamic range brightness imaging. And do not activate the flash mode to avoid poor acquisition, and do not edit, crop, mask or filter the captured images beforehand advancing into the reconstruction phases, as this can bring to poor or failure due to the variant image texture. In this research, two phone models with different camera lens resolution of 8 megapixel and 12 megapixel are used during the photographic session. The cameras are moved around the object, shooting full loops of images in increment to 5 to 15 degrees. Later, these images of this similar resolution are worked with Autodesk Recap for the preliminary 3D reconstruction. And the results are acquired as shown in the picture. The object shot with 12 megapixel lens camera has higher number of mesh polygon compared to the 8 megapixel lens camera. Thus, this preliminary information describes that the higher a camera resolution, the higher the mesh density. However, higher resolution images uses longer processing time, and in future, it may require much more RAM for smoother processing. The development of the portable mini turntable can be accomplished through an implementation of the engineering design process, whereby every aspect of the characterization as well as the specification are inspected before testing and verification of the product is made. Additionally, this photogrammetry turntable is tagged as pre-production prototype (PPP) for practical purposes. This pre-production prototype has to be developed through several potential design alternatives to ensure a suitable design is functionally efficient, easy to use, and robust to respond to inputs. As a result, the embodiment design is the most vital phase in the fundamental of engineering design study. Thus, the table shows the functional factors and alternatives to be considered for the development of the portable mini turntable in the study. As a conclusion, a pre-production prototype turntable which has been introduced in this study is a mock-up of a portable mini turntable for close-range photogrammetry. The close-range photogrammetry is a modernized technique that can be widely used and established in many fields of researchers. The photogrammetry technique has higher flexibility and mobility, and it portrays high precision potential with a fast on-site measurement. Thank you.